Joining us now, Lynn-Marie Angus. She is owner of Sister Sage. Thank you. I'm loving those curls.
Oh, thanks.
Stunning. Well, first of all, I love that the products that I've had. Beverly Andrews, who's a co-producer on this show with me, she introduced me to them probably close to a year ago, I would think. And that smudge spray, seriously, it does give you that fresh smudged feel after. You were in high-rise construction before starting this business during a pandemic. How does one go from building skyscrapers to making soaps and bath bombs? What's that process like for, in your head to get from that to this?
Yeah, it was like a total 180, totally different from what I was doing before to what I'm doing now. Working in construction was not for me. I was really experiencing sexism and racism, being overlooked for promotions for other men. I was crying all the time, and it really felt like I was in crisis, and I just had to get out of the trade or the industry. And so I collaborated with Melissa, my sister, and we came up with Sister Sage. And the funny thing is that I had never made soap before, but a ton of research and YouTube videos, here we are.
So from the time, you're getting to the point of fed up in your chosen career before, to the time of talking to your sister, we should get into business together, and then we should get into soaps. What's that sort of timeline on that?
Yeah, but we collaborated and we talked for quite a while trying to figure it out. I found a community entrepreneur program offered through the UBC Learning Exchange in downtown Vancouver. And so I signed up immediately, and they really helped me to, figure out what I wanted to do with Sister Sage. They taught me the basis of business and day-to-day life. And at the end of that program, I gave a pitch on Sister Sage and won $200. And so that was really the beginning of Sister Sage, and that was around September 2018.
Wait, and your sister Melissa, what's her background? Did anybody know how to make soap before this got going?
I know, so funny. So she had, she was in a bit of crisis as well. She found herself pregnant with her first child and facing homelessness. In Vancouver, there's a homelessness crisis, and she was part of it. And so this is why she wanted to, become her own boss and promote her own well-being. And so she was already interested in making bath bombs, and that's, it just kind of organically came together.
I think a lot of women thinking about going into business are scared to actually take that plunge, either thinking that you don't have enough money to get started, or what if your idea sucks and you're embarrassed and you fall flat on your face, or even just like a reluctance to leave that steady paycheck at a job that you might have to make that gamble on a startup. Can you share how you felt at the end of that diving board as you're looking off? You must have been thinking all of those same sort of things too. How did you convince yourself to take that plunge?
Yeah, it was really scary. I want to share a quick story. When I was in construction, and this happened actually on Indigenous Peoples Day in 2019, I went to work, all proud with my beads and my braids. And one of the male coworkers had trapped me in a metal box, it's a lift, like an elevator lift that goes up and down the side of the building. So I got out of there, and I never turned back. However, I was left with post-traumatic stress disorder and major depressive disorder. And so it took a lot of therapy to be considered recovered from this. And when I was offered my job back, and I said, no way, no thanks. And so I made the decision that day to just jump into Sister Sage full time and have this be my main source of income. And then, the pandemic was declared a few days later. And so it was a really scary and hard decision to make.
But you got through. I think that's kind of the message to women out there. I mean, you can be sort of at the bottom, feeling like you're at the bottom. And here you are, you're not at the bottom now. Is that something that you share with people? And I appreciate and thank you for sharing that story with us, with our viewers. And I'm sickened that you had to go through that. But what's to be learned from it? Like, if you can do it, do you kind of look at everybody and go, it can be tough, but you can do it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to share this story all the time because I want women and Indigenous women to know that they don't have to be stuck in their toxic work environments or even their toxic relationships, that there is a way out. It's a lot of hard work, but there's opportunity out there to become an entrepreneur. And so I do share, I have a growing platform on social media, and I share that platform with as many Indigenous women as I can. For instance, today I just launched for Mother's Day a matriarch box, and it's a collaboration with other Indigenous women creatives and aspiring entrepreneurs. Like, these earrings I have are made by Jamie Davis from Jada Creations. There's also, we're offering a meditation from Echo Alec from Sacred Matriarch, and another pair of beaded earrings by Audrey Medwish from Wawate Beads. So I really, I seek to share my platform and promote other Indigenous women for their own success.
Well, and that's another thing. When you and I were talking, there's a difference between how many non-Indigenous people approach business. Beating the competition, making the most money, those sort of goals, versus how Indigenous women approach business. What have you found now that you are part of that Indigenous Women Business Network? What's it like in there?
It's such a great, loving community, and I feel it's really important to share this. I think as Indigenous people, we always want to take care of each other first. Make sure we're taking care of each other, of ourselves, and then care for each other. And so for Sister Sage, I really try not to subscribe to that capitalistic, colonial idea on, it's all about money and hoarding money. So that's why, I want to hoard community, and I want to share this with others.
I love that. Such a big part of Sister Sage is raising others up. You don't see Indigenous women entrepreneurs as something to step on or to get ahead of. You see them as sisters. What advice would you have to your sisters who are sitting at home right now thinking about getting into business? Like, would there be a checklist that you would want them to go through in their heads before they make that move?
Oh, I think there's a ton of tips, but I think Sister Sage success has really been based on the community that I found, and it's really important to seek out those other women who can be mentors or who can inspire you or help you or amplify you or give you tips, or you can call at midnight because you're freaking out about something.
Yeah.
Because that's what I found. I'm a part of this community called the Indigenous Lift Collective, and we meet up every Sunday and Wednesday, and we gather in circle and we share our celebrations and tips, tricks, and our failures as well, which are also celebrations.
Oh, absolutely. How many people do you guys employ now?
I have one full-time lady working here, one part-time, and myself.
And tell us about sort of the new products. What do you guys have? You mentioned the matriarch box for Mother's Day, which I love. I just saw that moments before coming in here, actually. What else? What's kind of next for you guys? Where are you taking the business next? How are you growing? Are you branching into something that we can expect on the horizon?
Oh, that's a hard question. I feel like we just moved workshop into this beautiful house here in East Vancouver, and so we're kind of expanding that way. Next steps are, website development, more marketing, more advertising, and ideally hiring more women. The idea of this space here is I'm creating a safe environment and a safe workplace for Indigenous women and BIPOC women to come and work. And so for me to be able to give back to the community in just that one way is really important.
Well, Lynn, thank you for taking the time to join us today, and we wish, from the bottoms of our heart, nothing but goodwill, good success for Sister Sage. We love your product here, and hopefully everybody who hasn't heard of you can check you out. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.